In this session, we're going to discuss the entity configuration setup in the construction payroll module for Sage Intacct. With the multi-entity capabilities of Sage Intacct, you can establish different entity payroll rules if you need to have payroll for multiple entities in the system, as far as, you might have a different federal tax ID and different requirements. So in the system, under Applications Construction Payroll, you'll scroll down and enter into Entity Configuration. Once in there, if you do not see the entity identifier that you need to set up in the system, you can click Create New, and it'll open up a new entry screen, and you could select the entity that you need to set up payroll information for. So it could be, let's say I need to do it for the Timberline Construction Group. What's the effective date? And then there'll be some generic questions here. Is this a legal entity? If you say yes, then it'll ask for the federal tax ID. What type of employer is it? What type of payer are you? Medicare is typical, and so forth. I'm going to go back and I'm going to click the back button, and I'm going to go into the GC Timberline General Construction entity, which I already have established, and we'll go through. So you can see in this entity, we have established that it is its own legal entity. It has a federal tax ID. It's a local 501c, Medicare payer, and this is also where you establish your timesheet start date. So our timesheet is going to start on a Sunday, and our period end date is going to be on a Monday in that scenario. It's a 7-week duration for our timesheet, and you will be integrating to the Atrix software for tax filing and for payroll reporting. And this is going to be the customer identity ID for Atrix when you establish and set up a login for that. As we talked about in the prior session, this is where you also link your mapping rules for this entity. What general ledger rules should this entity follow? And down in the entity reporting section, any tax or benefit that you need to report on, this is where you could link it and establish your account number for that tax entity. So for example, for state unemployment for Oregon, here's my state ID. It could be the same as federal, but this is where you can establish a link and interface. And when you're running a report in Atrix, it'll use this mapping for the account number for any of your reporting items in the system. Over in the journal entry composite, once you select your mapping rules, if you want to see a detailed list of all the different GL accounts that are going to be used based on all of the check items, you can do that right here. So you can see whenever we do a cell phone reimbursement, it's going to go to this liability account, which is the net income payroll clearing, and it's going to go to travel and expense 6380. So you can get a quick glance as to how these are set up to make sure they look okay. And you can also do labor code mapping. So for example, some of the modules have duplicate lists. So for example, in projects, there is a labor unions list over in projects, and then there's also a separate one in the payroll module. So here's where you can say, all right, whenever someone uses for entry Carpenter's Local 101 from payroll, we want to make sure it reports over to the labor union that's set up in the projects module as this. So you can link the two together with labor code mappings as well. When you're done, you'll click Save, and then this entity will be good to go for payroll. Thank you.